Hello, in this video we are going to take a look at the refreshed section of chapter 8. So first we're going to take a look at POI, and those are the points of intersection. So what's really important sometimes is that you will be able to calculate the points of intersection with the y-axis. And then it's really important to know that if you want to calculate a point of intersection with the y-axis, there is something you know. And what you know, if you do have a point on the y-axis, is the x value. And x is always 0 when you are on the y-axis. But if you are looking for the points of intersection with the x-axis, then always remember when you are looking for a point on the x-axis, you always know y is equal to 0. Remember this well because it's really helpful in this chapter. What's also really important is this piece of information about a quadratic formula. The graph of a quadratic formula is a parabola, and we do have two kinds of parabolas. We do have an upward opening parabola, this one, the red one, and we also do have a downward opening parabola. And you can recognize them when you look at the formula. When you take a good look at this formula, you will see the number in front of x squared is a positive number. And if the number in front of x squared is a positive number, then you always will have an upward opening parabola. Is the number in front of x squared a negative number, and over here it is -1, you always have a downward opening parabola. So then, the most important part of the refreshed section. In this chapter, we are going to solve quadratic equations. But before you can do that, you need to be able to factorize, or maybe sometimes remove brackets. So what was factorizing? Factorizing means writing the formula with brackets. For example, suppose you do have this formula, and this is a formula in terms. We do have two terms, but we need a formula with factors. Then this means you have to be able to write a formula with brackets. And when I write this formula with brackets, you will get this. And now this formula is factorized because over here you multiply. And when you multiply two parts of a formula, you can call those two parts factors. So this is factorized. But the other way around, that's called removing brackets. So writing the formula without brackets, and we do that by using arcs. For example, suppose you do have this formula. This is a formula in factors. When you write it without brackets, we did that by using arcs, and I will show you later in this video. So when you remove the brackets, you will end up with this formula. And it's the same formula, only this time without brackets. And you see, we have terms. So in the next part, I'm going to show you how you can factorize. And in the last part, we're going to take a look at how you remove brackets. But first, factorizing. And really, that's an important skill when you want to solve quadratic equations. So this is a binomial. And we call this a binomial because there are two terms. So we need to write this formula with brackets. When you have a binomial, you always have one set of brackets. So this means I can start my formula by writing down y is equal to, and then one set of brackets. And then you're going to take a good look at both terms. What can they be divided by? Take a look at the numbers, and those two numbers, 12 and -15, can both be divided by 3. Then look at the variables. Both terms can be divided by a. So this is what I put in front of my brackets. But what comes over here? 3a times something must be 12a. So this must be 4a, because 3a times 4a is 12a squared. 3a times something must be minus 15a. So over here we need to write down minus 5, because 3a times minus 5 is minus 15a. So those two formulas are really the same, but this one is in terms and this one is factorized. And you need to be able to do this when you want to solve quadratic equations. But we not only have a binomial, we also have a trinomial. And then we have a formula in terms, but now we do have 3 terms. When you need to factorize a trinomial, you always get a formula with 2 sets of brackets. So you can get this ready, 2 sets of brackets, and we put an x over here and over there. And then we need to look at 2 special numbers. There needs to be a number over here, but also over there. And how did we do that? Well, take a look at this formula in terms. There are 2 numbers. One is the sum and the other one is the product. So this is the product and that's the sum. The product is always the number without a variable. So 6 is the product. So now I'm looking for 2 numbers. When I multiply them, you will get 6. And when I add those 2 same numbers, the solution must be 5. So there is a way to find these numbers. And you can use this. And what's really important is that you always start with product. Product must be 6. So I write down 6. Then always start really easy. 1 times 6, 1 times 6 is 6. And when I add those 2 numbers, the sum, 1 plus 6, is 7. But I need a sum of 5. So those were not the numbers I was looking for. So just continue. Again, product must be 6. Let's use 2. 2 times 3. That's also 6. So product is correct. And when I add those 2 numbers, 2 plus 3, then I will find 5. So this means the numbers I was looking for are these numbers. Positive 2 and positive 3. And then I can finish my formula. Y is equal to, between brackets, x plus 2 times, between brackets, x plus 3. So this was factorizing the trinomial. So now the other way around. How do we remove brackets? And we did that by using arcs. I'm going to show you this one with 1 set of brackets and that one with 2 sets of brackets. So remember, there's a multiplication symbol over here, but we don't write it down. But you have to know this. So this is a formula and it's starting with y is equal to. So my formula is also starting with y is equal to. Then we're going to use arcs. And think of, we are multiplying 2x times 3x. And that is 6x squared. Second arc, pay attention to the minus. 2x times minus 5. And that's minus 10x. Formula with brackets. And over here I have removed the brackets. This one is in factors because I multiply. And this one is in terms. And because there are 2 terms, this is called a binomial. So we removed brackets by using arcs with 1 set of brackets. And I'm going to show you how we did that when there are 2 sets of brackets. Remember, the multiplication symbol is over here. The only thing is it's not written down, but you have to know it's over there. So I'm going to remove the brackets step by step. 1 arc at a time. x times x. That's x squared. Second arc, x times positive 8, and that is positive plus 8x. So I'm finished with this one, and I'm going to continue with minus 3. So do not forget the minus. Minus 3 times x will be minus 3x. Last arc, minus 3 times positive 8. Remember, you have to calculate with a negative number, and this will be minus 24. So the brackets are removed, but always take a good look if you can shorten this formula. Do we have like terms? And there are like terms, because this one has a variable x, and that one too. So this formula can be written down a bit shorter. First, y is equal to x squared. 8x minus 3x will be positive 5x, and then do not forget the minus 24. So we have removed brackets, and now we do have a formula in terms again. And we have 3 terms, so this is a trinomial. So what's really important in this refreshed section is that you do know what we mean by factorizing. Because that's a skill you need when you want to solve quadratic equations. So practice well, and good luck with the exercises of the refreshed section.